He's got it. Lob for Levine.
Go get it.
Jumped out of the mezzanine.
One-on-one. I mean, he's had his hands full. Lillard, long-range three.
So he's out the game.
RAJPOD, I'm Liam,
I'm Rehan.
and the setup's a little bit different. We're at my house this time.
It's pretty cool. And we're going to actually do our deadline special before we introduce our new series coming out soon. Maybe debating.
Maybe, maybe not.
Maybe, maybe not. So, before we get started, make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications for when we post about this new series and RAJPOD episode 3. Because this is
Technically
2.5.
two, yeah.
Yeah, because, you know, we got to...
Technically 4, but it's
too many deadlines.
special, yeah.
Yeah.
Alright.
Okay, so there's going to be buyouts. We're going to go with the more boring stuff right here. LaMarcus Aldridge got bought out, or will be getting bought out, and Andre Drummond will be getting bought out soon. So what are your thoughts on LaMarcus Aldridge's place?
His place in the NBA is just mentor. Maybe a couple minutes per game. He's just old. He's washed.
Yeah, I can agree with that. LaMarcus Aldridge really hasn't been at his level of production, which amazing player, amazing career,
Yeah.
but just not that anymore. So I feel like this is going to be a young team signing for a minimum or close to a minimum.
Yeah.
And then now we have Drummond, who has been rumored to go to the Lakers, who are the leaders in this race. The Nets are in there. Some source said the Knicks, which I really don't see at all. But
Honestly, the
right there.
Knicks.
Yeah.
Honestly, the Knicks.
So and then I was also thinking Boston might want him, but I don't think Boston wants him as much anymore.
Yeah.
So yeah, who do you think?
Lakers or I think Nets, just because championship contender teams. Blake Griffin is there. I don't know what him and because they both played in Detroit together. I don't know what their relationship status is
Yeah.
with each other, if they're like on good terms or. But if they're on good terms, I could see him going there, wanting to play with Blake Griffin and Kyrie, KD, and James Harden.
Obviously, who
Or-
wouldn't want to play there?
Yeah, or he can go play with Anthony Davis, and that would be a pretty good big, like down low.
Yeah, I feel like Andre Drummond only didn't. This is kind of known. He only didn't get traded because his contract is so large, and the Cavs were even willing to take seconds at this point, which they really love seconds. Looking at these trades and stuff.
Yeah.
But you can't trade somebody with a large contract that isn't wanted like that bad. So Andre Drummond would probably sign with a contender.
Yeah.
Because he's been on some really poor Cavs and Pistons games.
Yeah,
It's kind of sad. And he's still he's about to reach his prime, as they call it, at that age.
Yeah.
So now we're gonna go into the trades. The trades this is pretty crazy. As a Bulls fan, Heat fan, we're all excited for a shakeup in the league.
Yes.
So we're actually gonna start off with yours.
All right. As a Heat fan, this is great because you'll see we get Victor Oladipo from the Rockets. The Rockets get Kelly Olynyk, Avery Bradley, and a draft swap. I'm glad with this trade because I'm a huge Tyler Hero fan. We didn't trade him or Duncan Robinson.
I was really thinking they were gonna trade Tyler Hero in one of these deals, either
Yeah.
for Kyle Lowry or Oladipo.
But Oladipo, I think, will help out the team quite a bit.
Yeah.
And they have bird rights to him. So, say they can bring him back next year. I think they could have waited to the offseason to get him, but I think this is a good trade for the Heat.
Yeah, and then you start to build that chemistry between all the guys on the Heat, and then you start to build that core up again. Because Oladipo's a great player. He's a two-time All-Star. He was amazing for the Pacers when they got him. 2nd overall pick. So you definitely got a good player in the Heat. And although you could have got Wade for him, I feel like this is a good trade, especially because you're the 4th seed or 5th seed right now.
Yeah.
So, great deal, obviously. And now the Hawks receive Lou Williams and the Clippers receive Rajon Rondo. So what are your thoughts on this one?
The Clippers, we know they wanted a point guard who can a playmaking guard basically. Pat Bev wasn't that. Lou Williams is having a down year. Personally, I like the Clippers. For those of you who didn't know that,
So you hate the Lakers?
yeah.
Okay.
I think the Clippers probably could have got a 2nd round pick out of this, but
Yeah, I can definitely see the Clippers getting a second from
Yeah.
that because Rondo really hasn't been crazy great either because he hasn't really been, playing
Yeah.
volume minutes. But Rondo's gonna definitely fill in for that playmaking role, and Lou Williams will fill in for that scoring role on the bench because Trae Young can't do it all.
Playoff Ronzo. Yeah, I mean, if they can get to the playoffs, no more choking.
Yeah, and then the Hawks have actually been a higher seed in the East last time I checked. So now you're adding on to this like great run that they've been having. It's just I feel like this is a great deal either way. And then when Chris Dunn comes back, then you still have
then you have that defensive presence.
Yeah, and now we have Philly receiving George Hill, the Knicks receive Terrence Ferguson, and the Thunder receive Tony Bradley, Austin Rivers, and 2 second-round picks. And this adds up to 34 picks
in the next 7 years. That's insane.
17 firsts and 17 seconds for the Thunder. So obviously, W for the
They're
Thunder.
going to build a super team if they can hit on those picks.
Yeah, which they will because their GMs.
Yeah, they have 34 picks. There's no way you don't hit on.
At least 5.
Yeah, and you probably only need to hit on 5 to.
Exactly. So then you have the Philly receives George Hill, who was a great backup last year for the Bucks.
Yeah.
So you have him filling in for a great backup point guard role. And then you have the Knicks get Terrence Ferguson, just another young guy to add to the table. So this is really just a W for the Thunder. Joel Embiid wants the Thunder to revolve around Tony Bradley, obviously. I mean, he did kind of cook the Bulls that one game, so yeah. I mean, it's pretty cool. I like these trades happening. Portland receives Norman Powell. Raptors receive Gary Trent Jr. and Rodney Hood. So, I have some things to say about this trade. Let's hear what you have to say.
I think the Trailblazers might have gave up a little bit too much.
What? Okay, we have very differing opinions on
think
this.
about it. Rodney Hood is way, like, he's just there.
Okay,
Gary Trent Jr. is like, I really think he's going to be pretty good pretty soon. And Norman Powell, I mean, he's there. But I think Gary Trent Jr., I mean, I think
you don't watch Raptors games?
No,
Norman Powell has been having a very, very solid season for the Raptors. But
Gary Trent Jr. Bubble Gary Trent Jr.
Okay.
Remember that?
That was like 70% from 3. That was ridiculous.
And then, I mean, this season he hasn't been fantastic, but he hasn't been bad.
Gary Trent's been okay. Yeah. Rodney Hood really hasn't done much.
Rodney Hood, I mean, if it is just for like Rodney Hood and Norman Powell, that would not go through.
Yeah. I feel like Norman Powell was, because the Raptors didn't want to pay him this offseason, which in my opinion is also dumb because he's having a great season. He's still young. And if you're going to build around Fred VanVleet and Pascal Siakam, Norman Powell is a perfect third guy for that. So you giving up him really isn't the best move, especially because you only got Gary Trent and Rodney Hood in return, and you didn't get like a first or something, because he's definitely worth it.
I think the Raptors, the Portland Trailblazers should have got a second, but...
You think the Portland Trailblazers should have gotten a second? That's interesting. So, yeah, obviously, Norman Powell's been great, and he's an amazing scorer, and Portland getting him's a fat W. I feel like the Raptors, this trade was an L for them.
I disagree with you, but okay.
Okay, let's move on before this video gets too long. The Heat received Nemanja Bjelica, and then the Kings received Mo Harkless and Chris Silva. So then the Kings just get a young player, and then Mo Harkless is 27, so he's kind of just a filler.
He's just there.
And then Bjelica fills in for Kelly Olynyk.
Yeah, I mean...
Lights out shooter.
Yeah.
So
he brings
shooting
to the table.
We haven't seen a lot of Bjelica this season because the Kings haven't played him too much. But we should not forget that Bjelica was very good for the Kings last season. So them acquiring, or 2 years ago. So them acquiring Bjelica is a very great move in my opinion.
I agree with you as well. I agree with you on that one.
So then now Denver receives Aaron Gordon. This was one that was talked about a lot.
Yes, this one's a pretty big trade.
Denver receives Aaron Gordon, Gary Clark, and then Orlando receives Gary Harris, RJ Hampton, and a first. What are your thoughts on this?
Orlando, so Aaron Gordon, I mean, he's athletic, as we've seen in the dunk contest. He jumped over Taco Fall, and he still didn't win, which is, but I think Evan Fournier is getting that's a different trade. I looked at the wrong one. RJ Hampton's a good young piece. I mean, I don't really understand the RJ Hampton when they have Cole Anthony and Markelle Fultz most likely coming back next year.
Yeah.
And I mean, Gary Harris, I mean, he's a pretty good scorer.
Yeah. Gary
And-
Harris is a good defender too.
Yeah.
And then-
shoot, wait, I got that wrong. Never mind.
Yeah. I mean, he's like,
Yeah.
he has the potential to be a good scorer.
Yeah.
And then you also get in that first, Boston was rumored to get Aaron Gordon, and they tried giving a lot for him. But obviously, I feel like Marcus Smart and 2 firsts was a stupid decision, so I'm happy
Yeah.
they didn't do that. But then Aaron Gordon going to Denver is going to be nice with Jokic.
Yeah, I feel like they should pair well together.
Yeah, because Aaron Gordon really hasn't been able to prove himself as an NBA player with Vucevic and other bigs on that team.
Mo Bamba.
Yeah, exactly.
When's the
Even-
last time we talked about Mo Bamba?
I know, he really hasn't been relevant behind Kevin.
Besides his song?
Yeah, really. Besides his song. But yeah, I feel like this is a W for both teams. Orlando gets rid of Aaron Gordon, and then Denver gets a great player in Aaron Gordon. Orlando's been having a W of the offseason.
Yeah, offseason
Yeah.
trade deadline.
I mean, trade deadline, yeah. But then next one, this one was kind of an L for them, though. Boston receives Evan Fournier, and then the Magic receive 2 seconds. So, what are your thoughts on
You
this?
talk about this one first.
Oh, okay.
Unless you go first.
I would like to say that Magic fans should have gotten either a little bit of a younger player or a first instead of 2 seconds, because Evan Fournier is a great scorer, obviously. That's why Boston wanted him. And he's been like really, really, really good over his career and at the Magic. So you only giving up 2 seconds is a W for Boston. Kind of an L for Magic, because you could get a lot more.
Yeah, I felt like
got
you could've
Romeo
got more.
Langford on the
Yeah.
Celtics too, right?
I would have, yeah.
I would have had Romeo Langford in that trade instead of 2 seconds, honestly, but that's up to the Boston Celtics to give him up. But then now we have my favorite trade of the entire
I'm
year.
a Bulls fan. I'm happy with this as well.
Yes. Chicago received Nikola Vucevic and Alfred Camino, who's my favorite 2K player. And then Magic received Wendell Carter Jr., thank God. Otto Porter, thank God. And then 2 future firsts.
This is the first round picks. People might be like, oh, what the first round picks? The Bulls don't draft well, so
Yeah.
that doesn't matter.
It really doesn't matter. If you
Oh,
don't
when
draft well.
Wendell's not, he gets knocked over by a stiff wind of, what do you call it? Stiff, some wind. You know, he's
Oh, yeah.
not the strongest. Otto Porter, pretty sure. Otto Porter, I mean, he's not been great. Nikola Vucevic, an all-star.
Yeah, All-Star.
So you got 2 all-stars.
3 including Thaddeus Young. Come on now. But
4 including Billy
Den-
Donovan.
Oh yeah, and then 5 including Denzel Valentine. Let's
Yeah.
go. Okay, but Alfred Camino is a great defender, and he will be a very good player behind Thaddeus Young. And then Nikola Vucevic, this is definitely a move to make the playoffs. So you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying, competing for the
Let's
East.
go.
Yeah, we're gonna be competitive now, and I love to see that, because getting to all this was kind of a shocker.
I didn't think this was gonna happen.
Yeah, this is like really weird.
Like, I didn't even think Vucevic was gonna get traded. to be
Yeah, because
honest with you.
Vucevic was even like, I'm open to a rebuild on the Magic.
Yeah.
He was like, I'm okay with staying during the rebuild. I know it's going to be a process. I think that's what he said. So them trading him right after, that's kind of nice.
Yeah, I mean, it's a business, but
It is a business at the end of the day. Denver receives JaVale McGee, and then the Cavs receive 2 seconds and Isaiah Hartenstein. This is really just the Cavs giving up JaVale McGee for 2 picks.
hey, JaVale, like, he's not the worst center. I mean, he can.
Yeah.
Behind Jokic, I mean, that's not.
It's going to be
bad.
really nice.
Yeah.
Especially because he has a lot of experience in
Yeah,
the
he's-
postseason.
Yeah, with Warriors, he's won rings with the Lakers.
Yeah. And then now you've got him on a team that's competing as well,
Yeah.
with an MVP candidate too. So that's going to be nice to see. The Pistons receive Corey Joseph and 2 seconds, and then the Kings receive DeLon Wright. DeLon Wright's been very good this season.
The line right is.
And then the Pistons get assets for picks and stuff. So, I mean, that's kind of a simple trade.
Just the rebuild, keep going.
Yeah, you might as well.
Yeah.
Worst team in the league. The Bulls receive Troy Brown Jr. and Mo Wagner, who was later flipped for Daniel Tice. And the Wizards receive Chandler Hutchinson and Daniel Gafford. I like this trade a lot. We got rid of all the crappy big men we've had except for Felicio and Cornette, which were actually the worst of them. But we got Troy Brown, who I haven't really watched a lot of Wizards games, but I know he's a decent player, so we get some depth there.
I saw his vlogs in the bubble.
Yeah. Oh, he had some vlogs in the book.
Yeah.
Okay. And then Mo Wagner, I'm really happy we flipped him for Tice, because Tice is a
Glad
shot
Mo-
blocker on the
yeah.
bench. We don't have that. We have not had that for years.
Yeah, that's the problem with like Wendell. And,
Exactly, because Wendell's too short and Gaffer's just not skilled.
Yeah.
And then now the Wizards receive Chandler Hutchinson, who's very good.
Yeah, Chandler Hutchinson.
Yeah. And then Gafford, who we're gonna just move on.
Yeah.
But good young players, and we're continuing to make a push for the playoffs now. I love it. I love it. I love it. Now we're gonna go to some surprising no trades and buyouts, and that'll be a wrap. So the Magic will not buy out Otto Porter. This one was obviously after the trade, which is not surprising because Otto Porter's still kind of young.
Yeah, and with what's his name being out.
Jonathan Isaac.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
I knew it was Isaac's son. Yeah, he's hurt, so just having him, I think will help them.
Yeah, having him as a replacement.
Yeah.
And then I think this is either his last year or he's got a player option after. So although his contract is pretty hefty, I feel like it's a smart decision.
Yeah.
The Rockets will not buy out John Wall.
I think I agree with this.
Yeah. Because you got John Wall from a trade, although it would actually make kind of sense because he's making a
lot of money, and I think that's why they couldn't trade him because no one wants to take on his contract.
Yeah.
And that was part of I think why.
That's why
they didn't trade him or buy out.
Yeah. So John Wall will probably be able to increase his trade value as time goes on because he's getting a lot closer to vintage John Wall. So I saw that on our Instagram post. But he's getting closer and closer to his formal self. So I feel like if he can get his trade value high enough, one contender might want to pay him the money. Kyle Lowry wasn't traded.
They went from the 2nd seed to the 11th seed. And,
Yeah.
Not a lot has happened to that team. Marcus Gasol and Serge obviously left. But, besides that, they haven't had big changes where that fall should go down to 11.
Yeah.
But I think, to be honest, I do think he should be traded. I just don't think...
Nah.
Yeah, he just turned 35. I did not think he was as old as he was.
I didn't think he was that old either.
I didn't see it until the Instagram posted happy 35th birthday.
He's as old as LeBron almost.
Yeah.
Actually, no, old as Chris Paul. He's older than Curry.
Yeah.
He's been in the league for a while. He's going to be a player that's going to be missed. But, yeah, I
Yeah.
thought he was around 30, 31.
I did too.
Lonzo's not getting traded, which also means Larry Markkanen's not going to be traded. That was kind of a deal that was rumored to happen a lot. And it didn't happen. And that makes sense for the Pelicans because Lonzo Ball is the perfect fit for Zion.
Yeah.
But Stan Van Gundy is not Jeff Van Gundy. He's not a good coach. He's not a good coach. His brother beats him in everything. But this isn't even me being mean.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong.
Stan Van Gundy has not been able to prove himself to be a good coach. That's why the Pistons didn't want him.
Yeah.
And now you have him on the Pelicans he's been messing up with the rotations. The players don't want to be there. Lonzo is not in the future plans apparently, but they didn't trade him.
Which is this is just dumb.
Yeah,
dumb.
the Pelicans. This is a waste of the season. This is a disappointing season
Yeah.
for the Pelicans. They should be at least in the playoffs. Honestly,
I think they should be at least in the play-in tournament. Right
exactly.
now.
Yeah, and they're not.
Worst case scenario.
Yeah. And then Steven Adams won't be traded. This is also kind of going. This was not rumored to happen as much, but this was my take. I was thinking that we would trade Lonzo Ball or the Pelicans would trade Lonzo Ball and Steven Adams, and we'd get Kobe oh my God! I flipped the teams. We would receive Lonzo Ball and I got this. We would receive Lonzo Ball and Steven Adams, and then the Pelicans would receive Kobe White and Larry Markkanen. What's your thoughts on my fake trade?
Actually, I think that's a good trade, to be honest. Kobe White, the Bulls are making him more of a playmaking guard because he can score the ball pretty well.
Yeah. Make some layups.
If the Bulls got Steven Adams, that would be. I don't know if they still get Vucevic if that happens.
Which now that we get Vucevic, I don't want Lonzo anymore.
Yeah, but
honestly,
Steven Adams is not bad. As Jimmy Butler says, he sets the hardest screens in the league.
Yeah, and he's freaking ridiculously strong too. Yeah. So that actually does wrap up our trade deadline video. Is probably I can't see the time. It's too far.
I think it's 19 minutes.
Okay, damn.
Yeah, so
that's what contacts do to you. Well, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys.
Rayhan, is this your first time with Igor?
Yes, this is actually my first time with Liam's dog, Igor.